Hi, everyone. I appreciate your taking the time to listen in on the many great NODA volunteer opportunities that we have available for our members. Our focus will be on appointed positions within the association, and let me just share with you what those positions are. So we have appointed positions for committee chairs, committee members, and network co-chairs. And today we are focused on committee members. We currently have 12 standing committees, and each committee has a different role in the association's governance and operations model. All committees report to the board of directors through a board member liaison, and each committee has a staff partner and a committee chair to work in collaboration to guide the committee work that is connected to the NODA strategic plan that is set up and governed by the board of directors. Appointments are typically 2 years in length. And I'm very happy to have one of our current committee members, Taylor Eubanks from the Leadership Development Committee with us today. Hi, Taylor. I am going to go ahead and ask some questions of Taylor. And I'd love to get her thoughts on these questions. So let's start out with the very first one, Taylor. How did you get involved with NODA as a volunteer?
Thank you, Joyce. This question, I really love this question when people ask this, but I had the opportunity to go to NODA when I was an orientation counselor back at UNC Charlotte, I think the first year. I went to the regional conference, maybe it was in 2017. And I think that was such a pivotal point in my career to be an OTR professional that since then I always knew I wanted to be able to give back and be able to stay involved in just the strong community that I met with other orientation leaders at that regional conference. My second year of grad school, I had the opportunity to participate in the first cohort of the Emerging Leaders Program. So that really opened my eyes to what volunteer opportunities there were, and I knew a committee level membership was something I would be interested in down the road. It started out just as a grad intern for our regional conference and then doing some small things such as resume reviews at the annual conference as my first year as a professional. Then I had the opportunity to serve on a regional planning committee, working with ed sessions. But then it really just spearheaded me to get more involved in something that would be more year round, more continuous, where I was able to have a little bit more of an impact and leave more of a legacy beyond just planning a conference.
I really appreciate your answer because it really, you talked about small and large opportunities, and that's really what it is. And you also talked about just putting yourself out there. I mean, that's kind of what I got out of what you just said is putting yourself out there and finding those opportunities to get involved and network with people. So I really love that answer. Thank you for that. So how did that previous experience lead you to apply for your current position, which again, you are a committee member on the Leadership Development Committee?
Definitely. So like you mentioned just a little bit earlier, there's so many different committees you can get involved in with NODA, and I was really torn of what avenue I wanted to go in, but I tried to think about areas that might be lacking in my professional career and different passion areas that are not able to be fully expressed in my current position. So in my current position, I get to do a lot with curriculum development and student leader training and oversight of program planning, but some of those deeper leadership development skills and those professional development skills are things that are lacking in my current role. So it was really great to be able to put my passions and experiences to use, even though it doesn't align perfectly, but it's definitely a perpendicular path, I like to say. I also think I was really passionate about the Leadership Development Committee, one, from getting involved in the Emerging Leaders Program. So that's a part of the committee that I think is really great and has a lot of great opportunity for those wanting to get involved in NODA. But also, I think just the community and the new to NODA community, as well as the new to NODA leadership community, has so much untapped potential that even I didn't know about, even when I joined the community, the committee ignorantly. I just had no idea all the great resources that are actually there until I sat down and spent time kind of diving into them. So I definitely think being able to promote those underutilized resources, but also build that community of support. I think something the committee really is big on this year is you don't have to be a new professional to be new to NODA leadership, and you don't have to know all the answers. No question is a silly question. Myself asks so many questions during our committee meetings. Joyce is laughing because she knows it's true. But I think really just putting yourself out there and being able to I had a lot of imposter syndrome applying for this committee, but really just putting myself out there and putting my skills and passions to use, plus having a great support network on that committee to be able to do some great work.
I really resonated with what you said, and I hear this from a lot of other volunteers too, and that is the professional development that you might not be getting in your full-time job, but you get that in other ways by volunteering with the association. I hear that a lot from our volunteers, so I really appreciate you saying that, Taylor, because that is a number one thing that we hear from members as well. So thank you for that. So tell me, what do you get out of volunteering with NODA? You mentioned, kind of alluded to a little bit to that, but why don't you
Yeah.
tell me a little bit more?
I think the biggest part is the community, as well as an outlet to be able to pursue some of those passions outside of my career. I know for me, sometimes it's very one-sided coming to work, doing tasks, seeing the big picture of the work we're doing at our institutions, but sometimes needing those creative outlets to be able to think outside of the box and talk to other people and bounce off ideas. I also think it's a balance of stepping outside of my job. I think it's really great to be honed in into my job, but having these meetings once a month or being able to have the subcommittee meetings is something else to be able to look forward to and work towards to kind of hold myself accountable in regards to my own time management with the job or time management with the committee. I think overall, just volunteering gives me a sense of inspiration and hope that I think sometimes everyone needs working in higher education. I know it's the start of a semester, but I really think all the great work that the committee is doing and even things we're going to be launching closer to the annual conference really is that like flame being ignited. I know it sounds silly, that analogy, but it's like really inspiring for me to be able to wake up and know there's greater things happening beyond my individual role and kind of inspiration to like do the best in my current job and in the committee. So I think those are some things I definitely get from volunteering.
I appreciate that. And we as staff get that too. Like we talk about that all the time, that working with our volunteers, we could not do this alone. We're a small association staff, and it's really important to us to have volunteers not only be content experts, but also to help us brainstorm and talk about things that we should be doing differently for our members, because we are the reason that the association exists is because of our membership. So we want to make sure that we're continuing to provide those opportunities for those professional development, but also to provide the programming that our members are looking for. And we could not do that without our volunteers. So thank you so much for your leadership and for stepping forward in this committee. I really appreciate that. And I love that a big connection for you was through the Emerging Leaders Program, which we launched a couple of years ago, and really excited to bring that back now that we're moving forward with more programming since being in the middle of a pandemic. So I appreciate that. So this is how folks can apply. Applications are open year round, and terms would begin January 1st if we're at the end of the calendar year each year. And we are currently going to be we're currently looking for committee members in a various committees. So please be sure to fill those out. If there's not an opportunity that we have an opening right now, we definitely will connect you with the Leadership Development Committee to connect with them on other opportunities that are coming up. But as Taylor had mentioned, there is just a plethora of opportunities, whether it's a committee member, it's a short-term stint maybe with an advisory committee or an ad hoc committee. At the regional level, for sure, there's a lot of opportunities. Even registering or applying for volunteering at the annual or your regional conferences on site is a great way to start to get connected as well. If you have any questions, I encourage you to reach out to the general NODA email or to myself. We'd be happy to also connect you with the Leadership Development Committee if you want to connect with any of them with any questions, or any of our other volunteers that are sitting in any one of these positions. I know our members would be, and our volunteers would be willing to connect with NODA members that have questions and interest in all the work that we do together as an association. I want to thank you all for joining us, and I want to give a great big thank you to Taylor for answering those questions for Marie and giving her insight on the importance of volunteering and what she gets out of those opportunities. Thank you, everybody, for listening in.